here is all of the delicious food I ate in beautiful Mexico City, Mexico. So I should probably let you know, Mexican cuisine is probably my favorite cuisine in the entire world. If not my favorite, it's definitely within the top 3. And I think Mexico City just might be the best place for vegans in all of Mexico. Arguably. I still need to travel a bit more throughout the amazing country of Mexico. But let's get started with some of our breakfasty sort of options, starting off at La Pitahaya Vegana. This is an all-vegan restaurant that is famous for its beautiful pink tortillas that maybe that doesn't add to the taste per se, but they look really pretty. And the food here is about 90% Mexican cuisine with some other sort of international dishes thrown in there. To drink, I really recommend you try the Café de Olla, which this is one of my favorite beverages from Mexican cuisine. It's just like a black coffee, but it's a spiced, sweet black coffee. They throw in things like cinnamon, piloncillo, which is like a dark brown sugar, and some other spices, sometimes like cloves and star anise. It's really delicious, really warms you up. We also tried a breakfast burrito, which was decent. It wasn't my favorite, to be honest. They filled it with like some vegan tofu, beans, avocados, and veggies, and it was a little bit bland. But what is not bland, that's my favorite thing we ordered here, is the mole mixteco. And mole is one of my favorite foods from Mexican cuisine. It's a really rich black sauce with ingredients such as cocoa, different chiles, maybe a bunch, well, definitely a bunch of different spices, and there's different varieties. And this dish has mole with these pink tortillas stuffed with plantains, really delicious with some Mexican rice on top and maybe some pickled onions as well. It's definitely a little bit expensive, but I think it's worth the price to have it and try it. It's beautiful, it looks really good, and the taste is amazing as well. Now let's move on to probably my favorite breakfast spot in all of Mexico City. It's Café Vegetal. This is an all-vegan cafe. It's good for breakfast and brunch. And here again, you can try Café de Olla. But what I really recommend you do is what's called a paquete, which is like a set, which is a really good deal because one paquete, it's about like $10, maybe a little bit less. And there's a bunch of different varieties you can choose, which comes like with an entree, orange juice, coffee of the day, and a sweet, which is going to be like a cinnamon roll or a concha, which we'll talk more about concha later. They're so freaking delicious. The entree we chose, one was chilaquiles, and the other one is molletes. And speaking about pan dulce, a great place you can visit in Mexico City is Pan Gabriel. This is actually a chain, and there are several throughout the city, and it's not an all-vegan panaderia or a vegan bakery, but it has vegan options galore in the panaderia, and you can order things here such as conchas. Concha time? Nice and soft. You can order empanadas, including some sweet ones, which are really tasty as well.
That's really good.
Or they have Pan de Muerto around the time of Dia de Muertos, which is like a really cool traditional festival, and people eat this pan dulce around this time of the year. So it's really cool. I tried that out as well. Another vegan bakery is going to be Miga Vegana, which is going to be an all-vegan bakery, and it's not as traditional like a panaderia, but it will have some vegan baked goods for you to try, such as a really good cinnamon roll. It's more like a French kind of style, so check it out if you're interested, but it's another good option to consider. And I have to throw in there for breakfast, a Mamba. This is a cute little cafe and juicery, and they have a really delicious chocolate banana bread. It's not maybe a traditional Mexican food, but it's really good, and I love banana bread, so check this out if you want something sweet and naughty in the morning. And another great place for breakfast and any other meal of the day, to be honest, is going to be Gracias Madre Vegan Tacos. This is an all-vegan restaurant which has a massive menu, and like I said, great for any time of the day. Let's cover breakfast first. Something really interesting we tried out was chilaquiles, but in a sandwich. So this is called torta de chilaquiles. Just take chilaquiles and throw it in like a Mexican sandwich. It sounds really interesting and a lot of carbs, but it's really freaking delicious. And we also tried nopales rancheros, and this is essentially like a tortilla for the base, and on top of that we have some beans, and we have nopales, which are like cactus, and they're really good. Maybe a little bit, some people say they're a little bit slimy at times. I don't think they're too bad, and they're really salty, which I really like. We also ate here for dinner, and we tried flautas, which are like fried tortillas, and these ones were stuffed in like a delicious tomato sauce. It's like a taquito, kind of. If you're American, maybe you know that more than flautas, and they were really freaking good. And maybe my favorite thing we had here for dinner was the enchiladas. Most Americans, if you're American, I'm not assuming, but I'm American, so maybe you are as well. you know enchiladas, but they are ridiculously good here. They are like stuffed full of delicious things, including potatoes, chorizo, and they're topped with salsa verde, which is super fresh and flavorful. I think they put lots of lime juice in it. A really delicious entree that you must try. And they're pretty big too. And of course, as the name implies, they have tacos, and we're gonna talk a lot more about tacos, everybody, because tacos are like the king of Mexican food, or one of them for sure. And they are fantastic. Their mock meats are full of flavor, and there's lots of different varieties for you to choose from. Moving on from the breakfasty sort of places, let's talk about Los Losers. This is a good restaurant, number one, if you like mushrooms, because they specialize in mushroom dishes. And the plating and the vibe, the aesthetic is really beautiful here as well. And it's mostly Asian food, but it's also mixed in, or sorry, mostly Mexican food, but there's Asian food mixed in the menu as well. My favorite thing we had here was the empanaditas de queso, which they're small. It's like a small empanada with lots of cheese, vegan cheese on top. Really tasty and fresh, and I liked it a lot, to be honest. We also tried the taco Tokyo Lula, which is like a Oaxacan inspired or infused taco, because on the tortilla they put like a black mole, a little bit of it, and then tons of mushrooms, which I think the mushrooms are a little too overpowering for this. I like the idea of it, and it is tasty, but maybe I would like obsess about their particular version of this dish. Now let's move on to more of like the hole in the wall kind of places, which I really enjoy when traveling to a big city. Starting with Supercito y Tacos Veganos. This is a small, like a little hole in the wall place where they mostly serve tacos and tortas. And here we tried tortas, but we tried a special torta, which is called pambazo, which is like a Mexican sandwich, but they dip it in this like red chili sauce, which adds just more flavor. Makes it a little bit more messy, but it's so freaking delicious with the mock meats and the cheese and the salsa. I love tortas, everybody, and pambazo is a really cool variation of this dish, which I think is local to Mexico City. They're very affordable as well, and I could easily eat like 2 or 3 in one sitting. Really good. Next is Por Siempre Vegan Taqueria, which is probably the most famous vegan taco spot in the entire city for good reason. There are 2 locations, and we ate here like 3 times, I believe. So we wanted to find out the best stuff here, and I'll try and tell that to you here in this video. So obviously, tacos are the specialty here, and they have an extremely wide variety of tacos you can choose from. But here are my personal favorites. I think this one's called the Big Tlacuache. This is really delicious. It's one of my favorite tacos I've ever had in my life. It's just like a normal corn tortilla. Really good quality here though, and they have some sort of like grilled cheese, which has like a nice crunch. It's really salty as well. And then on top, they throw some delicious mock meats as well, some avocado and a little bit of pineapple. Throw some chile and some cilantro if you want to, some lime, and this is just freaking perfection in like a couple bites. The next one is seitan al chimichurri. This is just really juicy and flavorful and salty, and I love chimichurri sauce, so this adds a nice dose of flavor to this taco as well. I also really like the bistec taco, which is like steak, chorizo, campechano, which is like a mixture of a few different meats or mock meats for us, and al pastor, which is a classic in Mexico City. And their tortas are good and worth trying as well, but the tacos are the star of the show in my opinion. But what was not the star of the show, unfortunately, was a dish called molcajete, which is made in this big like mortar dish, and it's really beautiful. There's like smoke coming from it a little bit, and you have all this mock meats and nopales and vegetables and like a tomato kind of sauce, but it was a little bit more of eye candy than like a treat for my stomach. It was still good, but it's also pretty pricey as well, so I don't think I would try this again. Other food vloggers seem to like rave about it though, so I wanted to try it, and maybe you'll have a different experience than me, but my personal opinion, stick to the tacos here at Por Siempre. Now let's move on to Gold Taco Roma. Now Gold Taco Roma is in the Mercado Roma, which is in the neighborhood of Roma Norte. A lot of these places are in that area actually. And it's located a bit towards the back, so don't get a little frustrated if you can't find it immediately. This is a cool little sit down spot where, again, as the name implies, they have great tacos. They're really delicious and affordable, so definitely gotta check out the tacos. But what you absolutely must check out are the tamales. And tamales are essentially like I can't really describe them to be honest, but it's like masa or like corn made dough, and they like steam them, and they're filled with some delicious things that there can be a variety of different fillings in tamales, and they're steamed in these like corn husks or banana leaves. You can try both varieties here at Gold Taco, and they are freaking delicious and amazing, especially if you put a little bit like salsa on a couple bites to get some more flavor and spice and heat. I just love the corn flavors in Mexican cuisine, and tamales are probably one of my favorite dishes among like tacos and everything else. I just love Mexican food so much, and tamales, if I can find vegan ones and they're good, oh my god, I just dream about them, really. I truly do. And lastly, let's talk about gatorta, which is a fun little pun between gato or cat and torta. Maybe you already put that together because your Spanish is probably better than mine, to be honest. I'm working on it though. But this is a cool food truck that specializes, as the name implies, in tortas. They also do tacos and some other things like some sweets that you can sometimes find. But their tortas are massive. You can choose among a variety of different things like milanesa, which we tried, which is really nice. Milanesa is like a thin breaded cutlet. They also have salchicha, which is like a Mexican sausage. And I believe I tried suadero, which was really nice as well. They're massive and really messy, but so delicious. And you can just eat them right there. It's a really cool local feel. And I would definitely want to eat some more tortas here at Torta, but I really enjoyed it and you should check it out. And lastly is El Moro. It's a churro chain shop. There are several locations across Mexico City. This is the one in the La Condesa area. And here you can get some vegan churros, just the plain one is vegan, and some hot chocolate. It is so delicious and a nice little sweet treat to start your day with or end your day with or any time of day. Check this out if you like churros like me. So that was about 11 spots to eat vegan, delicious vegan food in Mexico City, and there are so many more. I definitely need to go back to Mexico City, but I think this is a really good place to start and a really good food guide, especially if you want to eat delicious local Mexican food. So what do you think? Which of these dishes looks the most amazing to you? Are there any places I need to check out in the future that you know of? Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, I also made a vegan food video for Tulum, Mexico, which is another popular tourist place and a place that has amazing vegan food as well. So check that out if you're interested. Thanks a lot, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.